We are all serving customers. Wait for 3 hours.
Before heading overseas for a business trip, I rushed to the bank to open an account. However, the man at the counter, who turned out to be the assistant branch manager, provided sloppy service, and I was forced to wait for a long time. I had no choice but to wait, but business hours ended and I couldn't make the payment on this day. The man laughed off my inconvenience and told me to leave despite making me wait. The $100 million deposit that was supposed to be made today didn't happen, so never mind. While waiting, I got angry at the man for his terrible customer service and made a call to someone. The man, who carelessly thought it useless to call the police, turned pale at the arrival of the person I had called. My name is Luke Miller, 51 years old. Today, I intended to go to the bank to open an account, but work got busy and I ran behind schedule. The bank closes early at 3 p.m., so I had to hurry with the procedures to make it in time today. I'm leaving for an overseas business trip tomorrow and won't be back in the USA for a while. That's why I regret not handling the procedures earlier. Anyway, I hurried to the bank. I lost my breath and arrived at the bank, crowded with customers. The counters were full, and some customers were even standing while waiting. I could imagine that I would have to wait for an hour. But I was introduced to this bank by an acquaintance who had arranged for the bank staff to take care of me upon mentioning my name. I was going to receive the service without ticket number. "Excuse me, I am Miller, but..." I approached the male staff at the counter. He seemed to be my age or slightly older.
Yes.
He replied quite rudely and looked me up and down.
This isn't a job center, you know.
I came here for bank business. I didn't understand why he mentioned a job center to me. Then, the man sighed heavily.
What? With those cheap-looking clothes? I thought you were some unemployed bum.
I wish I had misheard him when he mumbled that. My clothes were quite simple, but I didn't know why he had labeled me poor. No, I mean, I had an appointment, Miller.
Appointment? Never heard such a name. We don't take appointments here. It's first come, first served.
Wait, that can't be right. The person who referred me wouldn't make such a communication mistake. As I tried to clarify, another bank employee approached me.
The assistant manager David, a VIP customer, is calling for you.
Got it. Anyway, we don't take appointments. Wait with this number.
Okay. David, as he was called, brushed me off with his careless attitude and walked away. It is unexpected that he was the assistant branch manager. But can he deal with customers like that? I thought to myself, but I waited my turn quietly. Since all seats were taken by other customers, I stood, but according to the number on the monitor, my number was still ahead. Looking around, I noticed that the other customers were dressed in fine suits or clean, high-end clothes, all seemingly wealthy. This bank, located in a wealthy downtown area, seemed to cater to a clientele of well-off individuals. In my shirt and shorts, I might have stood out awkwardly among them. As David mentioned previously, he responded to other rich customers with a smile on his face. He had a polite service that was different from how he treated me, and I felt the difference in treatment. The crowd had grown since I arrived, indicating an even longer wait time from now. Then, a man who looked like a typical elite businessman walked in and spoke to David.
You have a reservation, right? We've been expecting you. Please come this way.
Despite claiming they didn't accept reservations, David prioritized the customer who arrived after me. I rushed to the counter where David was. It turns out you do take reservations, right? I'm really in a hurry here. Can you do something? I need to open an account and make a deposit today.
We are all serving customers. Wait for 3 hours.
Despite my attempt to negotiate, David dismissed me without even looking at my face.
Other customers are also waiting patiently. We can't give you special treatment.
I was forced to take a new number and wait again. But the way David treated me left me feeling irritated. Though he told me to wait for 3 hours, it was already past noon. The bank's counter service typically ends at 3 p.m., and waiting for 3 hours would mean I'd miss the deadline. As my anxiety grew, I kept checking the monitor, but my number never appeared. After an hour, the crowds go down, and the monitor shows a number close to mine. Just as I thought my turn was coming up, the next number called was one after mine. At the same time, I heard a bank employee calling out,
Customer with ticket number 312, please proceed to counter 2.
"What? That's not my number." My number had been skipped. There was no way I wouldn't have noticed it being called, as I was paying close attention. Deciding that it was open to complaint, I approached the bank employee once more. "Excuse me, I've been waiting for a while, but my number got skipped."
Oh, I'm so sorry. Let me check with another staff member.
I asked another bank employee who wasn't David, and she apologized and tried to get me through. But then David showed up, and the employee's demeanor turned somber.
What did you do?
Assistant Manager David, we skipped this customer's number by mistake.
The bank employee explained nervously to David, and he chuckled through his nose upon seeing me.
You're done here. Go handle something else.
Yes.
At David's stern command, the employee quietly left. "Assistant Manager, I've been waiting here for a while. When am I going to be called?" I asked sarcastically, but David just grinned.
If your number was skipped, just line up again. Maybe you were zoning out and didn't notice.
"That's ridiculous. I already used the bathroom and kept looking at the monitor. It's impossible to skip a customer's number." Then David laughed at my clothes.
Wearing such poor-looking clothes lowers the bank's dignity. Come back in something nicer.
I looked at my outfit. It wasn't anything fancy, just a simple and modest shirt and shorts. I pride myself on simple designs and quality materials, so being called poor was an insult. Just so you know, this is a designer brand. Do you harass customers based on their looks?
The designer clothes, huh? I'm in charge here while the branch manager is away. It's only natural to be cautious of suspicious customers. If you wanted proper service, you should have lined up again.
But I was. "Oh, wait a minute." As I tried to argue, David quickly returned to his post. Stuck with my irritation and nowhere else to turn, I found myself waiting yet again.
Excuse me, mister?
Perhaps because I had been sitting there for so long, another bank employee tried to approach me. But David noticed and came over.
You handle that customer over there. I've got this under control.
Oh, but...
The bank employee, halted by David, gave me a worried glance, seemingly torn about following his order.
Come on. I'm giving the orders here. Off you go.
David, who has no patience, forces the bank employee away. I frowned and glared at him, and he responded with a condescending sales smile.
We prioritized other customers who were ahead, so please wait a bit longer.
Please hurry. I'm really in a rush here. I was sitting all the time, and my frustration grew, and I responded gruffly. David's facade dropped to a serious look for a moment, but then he resumed his fake smile and returned to his work. With nothing else to do but wait, I found myself observing the people coming and going. Eventually, I noticed the interactions between the bank employees and David. Even though he was busy, David seemed to be just directing traffic and giving orders to the employees. Understandably, managing staff during such busy times is crucial, but it seemed like they were intimidated by him. 2 hours later, I yawned several times and realized that the number of customers had decreased significantly, and it was almost the closing time. A few employees began the closing procedures. Then, David approached me with a smirk.
Oh, still here. We're closing for today. Come back another time. Or were you planning to squat here? This isn't a shelter for the homeless like you. Get out.
Deep down, I knew David had no intention of serving me. I had hoped to make my deposit today, but because of him, it was too late. Do you always treat customers you don't like this way?
We have the right to choose our customers. It's only natural to be cautious of odd ones.
Don't judge people by their appearance. It's rude. David had labeled me as a suspicious customer based on how I looked. I am just a guy over 50, not acting suspicious in any way. It's unacceptable to judge and treat customers differently based on their looks. The other bank employees watched us from a distance, looking uneasy, but none dared to confront David. He must have pressured them into submission, making it impossible for them to oppose him. It was a mistake to come to the bank where people like you work. I wonder what the branch manager would say if they saw how you treat customers. I said sarcastically, but David just laughed it off. Unable to bear it any longer, I asked him, "Are you really okay with this?"
What?
I confirmed with David. I was ready with my next move if he refused to provide sincere service. Pulling out my cell phone from my pocket, I pushed a number.
Are you going to call the police? It's useless to do that. On the other hand, the police will get mad at you for obstructing business.
Ignoring David, I called the person who had referred me to the bank. The phone was answered after 2 rings. "Hello, is this the branch manager?"
Huh.
David looked bewildered. The $100 million deposit that was supposed to be made today didn't happen, so never mind. I told him so on the phone.
Why are you, an ordinary person, on the phone with our branch manager? He's too busy to even talk to the staff here. Or are you talking about a different branch manager?
No, I actually called the branch manager of this bank directly on his personal number.
What? How is someone like you connected to the branch manager?
David's exclamation caused a stir among the other bank employees. I just happened to have a business connection. The branch manager recommended this bank to me. The branch manager introduced me to the bank's membership, which promised added interest on savings accounts, preferential exchange rates for foreign currency, and complimentary health checkups, among other services. Furthermore, I heard premium members with over $1 million would receive services even after retirement. I planned to deposit some money before going on a business trip overseas. The branch manager said to prioritize guiding me. Didn't you hear anything about it?
From the branch manager.
David began to panic, casting glances at the other employees. They all seemed clueless and shook their heads.
See, not just me. They all said they didn't hear about it. You were trying to trick me, weren't you? I'll sue you for obstruction of business if you don't leave quietly.
David, relieved that he wasn't at fault, pointed at me triumphantly. Just then, I heard footsteps and turned to look.
No, I did tell David. Today, Mr. Miller was supposed to come in to open an account, and I told him to ensure you were well taken care of.
Everyone's gaze shifted to the calm, low voice. The branch manager appeared from the staff entrance.
Branch manager, I thought you were at the headquarters today.
I was, but I hurried back after receiving a call from Mr. Miller in a taxi.
The branch manager glared at David, who suddenly lost his bluster and looked like a scolded cat.
I sent you an email. Didn't you check it?
Email?
David fumbled for his work phone. He stopped in his tracks, staring at the screen. It seemed he hadn't noticed the branch manager's email.
I didn't notice it among the other emails.
David's shaky voice left me and the other employees speechless. If David missed the email from the branch manager, it's understandable that the others were unaware. The branch manager frowned deeply, glaring at him.
How could you not notice my message?
The branch manager's angry voice echoed through the bank. David flinched visibly.
But why would you favor such a man? He doesn't look wealthy at all, this poorly dressed guy.
David pointed at me, attempting to justify himself. But the more he explained, the deeper he dug his own grave. Sorry for looking like a poor man.
Not at all. Mr. Miller is a very distinguished person.
As I sulked, the branch manager hurried to defend me. David, unable to comprehend, scowled.
Branch manager, who exactly is this man?
Watch your mouth. Mr. Miller is a businessman who owns multiple companies.
I nodded along. I am the president and business person of several apparel companies. I have several stores and offices abroad, constantly traveling the world for inspections. The clothes I'm wearing are from my own brand, a piece I am particularly proud of for its material quality. I also own much real estate, from which I derive a significant income. I was planning to deposit $100 million before leaving for a business trip overseas tomorrow.
$100 million.
The sheer amount left David speechless. I had met the branch manager through a business acquaintance who introduced me to the member services. It's quite rare to have a customer with assets of $100 million, so I've become a high-value customer for the bank. However, letting go of high-value customers would be a significant loss for the bank. Besides, if it was the assistant manager David's fault, the bank's reputation would be damaged. He knows the identity of the person he harassed, and his face has turned pale. I don't really want any special treatment, but your bank would have been a good business partner if he had served me like any other customer. I sighed deeply while looking at David.
Mr. Miller, did our David do something rude to you? Could you please tell me the details?
Yes, of course. I explained in detail to the branch manager everything that had happened since I arrived at the bank. Despite not remembering doing anything to David, he treated me very rudely. He never called me even after waiting for a long time. He prioritized other customers and skipped my number. When I complained, he mocked my appearance and provided terrible service.
Is that true, David?
The branch manager, after listening to my story, questioned David with a red face. David turned pale, shaking his head repeatedly in denial.
No, it's not true. I was properly assisting the customer. It was just crowded today, and I might have been a bit rough due to the rush. But I certainly didn't mistreat Mr. Miller.
Although he seemed to understand what he had done, David trembled but stubbornly refused to admit wrongdoing. Are you going to make excuses? If you sincerely admit your actions and apologize to me, I might forgive you.
I'm not making excuses. I really didn't do anything wrong.
I gave him a chance to apologize, but David obstinately refused to acknowledge his fault. However, even if the branch manager didn't know, I, as the party involved, knew what David had done. And the other bank employees, who had witnessed me waiting for a long time, must also be aware. Well then, branch manager, ask them as well.
Them.
I pointed towards the bank employees and said to the branch manager, they have been handling customers for long, so they should know I was here. Moreover, that guy there tried to talk to me, but David stopped him. Before closing, one bank employee approached me, but David prevented him and directed him to other customers.
How was David's customer service, guys? You all saw how he treated Mr. Miller, didn't you?
The branch manager approached the bank employees and sought to confirm the facts. But they hesitated to speak up and did not open their mouths.
Hey, this is my order. I'm asking about David's service.
While his tone was relatively calm, their continued silence seemed to push them towards revealing the truth. I looked at David. He was staring silently at the bank employees. It was as if he was silently pressuring them to keep their mouths shut. Suddenly, I remembered how the bank employees had appeared cowed in front of David. I thought perhaps David pressured them when the branch manager wasn't present. If David has done something to you, you'd be better off throwing up here now. Otherwise, you'll continue to be subjected to this. I addressed the bank employees in this way.
Wait a minute, Mr. Miller. Why are you saying such negative things? It's almost like you suggest I've been harassing these people.
David hurriedly tried to stop me. Despite his forced smile, his awkward grin betrayed signs of anxiety. I don't know if it's true, but I thought so. It's unusual to be so frightened of you.
That's...
When I spoke plainly, David stuttered.
So, what's the truth? What about you guys?
Encouraged by the branch manager, the bank employees looked at each other and seemed to make up their minds. The bank employees hesitated but finally spoke up.
Actually, when the branch manager wasn't around, the assistant branch manager gave us unreasonable orders. He spent 3 hours lecturing employees with poor sales performance and even tried to make a newly joined staff member write reports, shouting at them until they cried.
What they told us was all about severe harassment. David seemed to have been using his position as assistant branch manager to pressure his subordinates only when the branch manager wasn't present. When the branch manager was around, he pretended to be a good boss and received high ratings. However, in reality, he had been treating his subordinates poorly, especially those weaker. The bank employees were afraid they wouldn't know what David would do to them if they revealed David's behavior to the branch manager, and when I was harassed, they had no choice but to look the other way.
Mr. Miller's response was the same. When I tried to speak up, the assistant branch manager stopped me and told me not to handle it. Mr. Miller, I am terribly sorry.
The bank employee apologized to me with tears.
Hey, don't say that in front of the branch manager.
David gestured for silence, putting his index finger to his lips. But the bank employee's accusations had already reached the branch manager's ears. Listening to their story, the branch manager was shaking with anger.
So, David, you've been doing as you please while I was away, mistreating Mr. Miller and your subordinates.
Wait a minute. You believe this, guys?
If they admired you, they wouldn't need to lie about being harassed.
David was cornered by the branch manager's logic and backed away, unable to find an excuse. Anyway, I cannot deposit my important money in a mega bank with such people. I'm sorry to say this to the branch manager who introduced me, but I will cancel the membership application and look for another bank. When I said that, the branch manager looked deeply apologetic.
Mr. Miller, I am truly sorry for this. What David did will be reported to the bank president for appropriate action. As an apology, we will offer you a dedicated concierge service and our utmost service. So please consider staying as a member.
The branch manager was not at fault, but he bore responsibility for overlooking David's reckless actions. I will leave David's punishment to you, but I do not want to deposit my money in a bank where the staff is not properly trained. I'll be leaving now.
Please wait, Mr. Miller.
As I firmly stated my decision, the branch manager was visibly shocked and glared at David.
David, apologize to Mr. Miller now.
I'm very sorry.
Under the branch manager's pressure, David finally apologized. When pressed about why he targeted me for harassment, David said it was because he was frustrated with the never-ending customer service and crowded conditions, using me as an outlet for his stress. The harassment was not frequent, but targeted at seemingly docile customers to skip their numbers and relieve stress. Hearing this, the branch manager was speechless. Of course, I couldn't believe it either.
I was a fool to trust you. I will report this matter to the bank president.
Please, not that. I'm so sorry. Anything but losing my job.
It was too late for apologies. Despite being given a chance to apologize earlier, David refused to acknowledge his actions. The branch manager and bank employees glared at David, shrunk in size. That arrogant man I first met was nowhere in sight. Following this, David was reprimanded by the branch manager for losing a major client and was reported to the bank president, facing severe criticism. He was further reported to the president of the bank on the matter and was struck with a severe thunderbolt. Aspiring for promotion from assistant branch manager, David received a poor evaluation from the bank president, permanently losing his chance for advancement. His customer service attitude, insidious harassment, and outlandish behavior became an issue, leading to his unprecedented dismissal. As the assistant branch manager of a mega bank, David had a substantial salary and a comfortable life, but after being fired, he struggled to find work and had to downgrade his living situation. He could not secure a decent job and failed to interview at other banks due to his inherent personality. David now barely makes ends meet with part-time jobs, leading his family to lose patience. His wife divorced him, taking a large sum in alimony and depleting his savings. The high-earning banker's life turned upside down, searching for jobs at the employment office. If he had sincerely apologized to me, he could have avoided this worst-case scenario, but David chose his own thorny path. With David gone, the bank regained its peace, and the employees seemed relieved to work there. Later, the branch manager and the bank president came to apologize to me, compensating for the mental distress caused by making me wait for a long time. I didn't need the compensation, but they offered to pay me the compensation for making me wait so long and causing me emotional pain. I refused to accept the compensation because I had enough money, but it would be a matter of honor for the mega bank if they didn't pay the compensation. They gave me double the market price. David was a scumbag, and it was refreshing to see him fired, but the branch manager and other employees finally took my side, and I told them I felt their good faith and would open an account with them. The branch manager and bank president were delighted, shaking hands firmly, looking forward to building a good relationship. Since then, I've become a premium member, receiving courteous service without any mistreatment at the bank. The bank offers excellent member benefits and retirement services, ensuring a secure life after retirement. Although I was frustrated by the long wait and poor service at the time, looking back, it turned out to be a blessing in disguise if it led to David's departure. Now, I'm building factories overseas to help foreigners looking for work, teaching them about fashion design. Fashion design skills will benefit the future, and I'm saving up assets to support those who want to start their own businesses. I thought to myself, I can spend $100 million, so I want to spend it on something meaningful and for the benefit of others.